Friday?
Made my first batch of fresh pasta with Caputo 00 last night.
That's what we like to hear.
Good stuff.
00. Is the hype real with 00?
I think.
Hey, Anthony, where'd you get this podcasting stuff from?
It fell off the back of a truck.
How you doing? Welcome to another edition of Breaking Bread, the Breaking Bread podcast. I'm Sal Valentinetti, joined as always by my co-host Anthony Sciarratta.
How you doing?
And today is a very exciting day because we're also with Sal Valentinetti.
Hey.
No, I'm just kidding. That's Domenico Tolomeo. He is the pizza champ. He is a great representative of the culinary community here in New York. And he makes the greatest pizza. Not only makes the greatest pizza, but he can teach you how to make the greatest pizza.
That's right.
So thanks for coming down and spending some time with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Wow, so you're like single me.
Yeah.
That's got to be interesting.
It's fun.
Let me tell you something. You are a funny motherfucker.
Oh, that dinner at El Baco?
We went out to eat at El Baco, and we didn't stop laughing. I think for what, like 3 hours?
I got
3 hours straight.
It just comes
was
out.
hysterical. This guy could be a fucking comedian. He's great.
If I didn't have stage fright, I think I would try comedy.
I was going to say, Mimmo's got my face and my personality.
Yeah.
If he could sing, I'm out of a job.
No, I can't.
That's it.
I can't sing. If I could sing, then we would have headlined Westbury. We would have headlined fucking Nassau Coliseum.
Wait,
Oh my God. Do you know what would be great? Westbury, Valentine's Day. You should go out on stage.
When I went to that Valentine's Day show, I was saving all this for the podcast, but I went to the Valentine's Day show. I'm walking through. Everyone's looking at me, and I hear, is that Sal? And I got my mom's laughing and stuff, and I'm like, I'm not Sal. I'm like, I wouldn't be at the bar here at Westbury Music Fair having a drink. Like, yeah.
What if we did like an act where we did like a variety show where you sing and you make pizza and you're in two places at once at the same time?
All he would have to
Like
do
what
is
I'm
lip
talking
sync.
about? Yeah.
All he would have to do
Yeah.
is lip sync the lyrics
Yeah.
and make pizza.
It's crazy, right?
It's
It's crazy.
It's fucking wild.
Mimmo, that's a great idea. We're gonna open up a pizzeria together.
Fuck yeah.
We're gonna use my name and the whole Pizzaioli history. Oh, I'm not really a pizza delivery guy.
That's still fun.
Yeah, but we
But
can
then
stretch that.
people
We
come
can-
in.
yeah, we'll stretch it a
People
little.
come in, and there's a track of me singing playing, and you're just lip syncing, making pizza.
They're like, oh, look at that. Sal makes pizza.
Wow, they walk in and they see you. We whack it up.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I've been thinking about doing that. It's been on my mind.
I get a lot of, I'm the corporate chef for Caputo now, but I do get a lot of offers to open something on Long Island. I'm like, if I'm going to open it, it's going to go one or two ways. I think we had spoken about, because you and I are both very nostalgic. It's going to be, it's either going to be a pizzeria you walk into and you feel like you stepped back in time, but not, like, gimmicks work. Like I always say, like Planet Hollywood, all that shit worked. The reason why they didn't survive was because the menu sucked. The food was terrible.
Agreed.
Right.
If you can do that on pizza, whether it's an 80s themed or 70s themed or whatever it is, and you walk into a pizzeria and it's not cheesy, but it's like, you feel like you went back to the 80s.
It's authentic.
And
Look at what Joey Sidori is doing with Italian American Club, and now his new Arthur and Sons location in Murray Hill. They have 90s theme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got the Pizza Hut lamps hanging over the
Yep.
bar.
Yeah.
And
Smart.
the food is good. The food is great.
Yeah.
And it's a gimmick, it's an eye catcher, but really it's just the conversation piece over this great food.
Over the food has to be the stuff. I thought either that or there's nothing to do anymore on Long Island. There's like nowhere to go at night, a reason to get dressed up. So I would want to do
Supper club.
like you watch like the Green Book, the opening
Yeah.
scene when he's in the Copacabana.
I love that.
Have
I
you
know
ever
what
been
mean.
to Runway 84?
Yes.
I fucking love that spot.
You do that.
So I helped Mark do his pizza concept there, and I became really good friends with Mark. And Mark took me to Runway 84. It was that, but centered around pizza. And I remember talking to Mark about it. Mark's like, whenever you're ready, I'll do it on Long Island. 100% would do that on Long Island.
Let's call him. I played Pat Marzano's birthday party at the Flamingo in the Flamingo Club in Boca. All their partners over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark's a sweetheart. And he's super, again, like people you want to aspire to be in the restaurant industry,
Yeah.
Mark Falsetto's one of them because he's super successful, but the most humble, down-to-earth sweetheart of a guy you'll meet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really great guy.
Mark, Danielle, and my wife and I have been trying to get together for a couple of years, and
Yeah.
then the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
And Mark is great. He's got that place, Pizza Craft, down there. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
That's where
The
I went.
food there is great.
I went to Pizza Craft. We did the recipes there.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "You got to come to Runway 84." And then he wanted to bring me to Matarano's to meet Steve.
Yeah.
And then that week I was there. Steve wasn't there, but he's another guy I like Steve Matarano.
Steve's
So that's the other thing is either the restaurant has some sort of, I don't want to say gimmick, some sort of theme.
Yeah.
Or it has a standout personality like Steve Martirano.
Yeah.
Whenever there's like a celebrity in the house, if they're an actor, he'll put their movie on.
Yeah.
And then whenever their iconic line comes up,
Yeah.
he will hush the entire restaurant. And you know what's crazy is because if it was anyone else doing that, singling someone trying to have dinner out
Yeah.
in front of a packed house, and he puts 150, 200 people in there.
Easy.
Right? If it was anyone else doing that, I'm sure the person would get a little pissed off. But because it's Steve,
Yeah.
if Chaz Palminteri's sitting there for dinner and he puts on the there's nothing worse in life than wasted talent on every TV in the restaurant, basically pointing out, look who we have here with us today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like an honor over there.
For them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
And
cool.
you think about Emilio's Bellotto, like they're going in the back.
Oh,
They
yeah,
don't-
it's
they don't
like
wanna
very
see
private.
anyone.
It's the complete opposite.
Yeah.
However, that's another place that the gimmick is
It's
exclusivity.
amazing.
The food is great.
Yeah.
The food is unbelievable. It's top tier.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is the exclusivity. It's
That's true.
who gets seated in the back room.
I want to go.
Every time I
That's
go
my
there-
goal in life is to get seated in
Tell
the back
me.
of Emilio.
Tell me, we can go sit in the back room. We can go. Sit
I'm friends with Anthony
tomorrow.
and all them. No,
Come on,
but
cuz.
he'll let me go, but I want to have the status to have to go.
I know. I know what you mean.
You know what?
Hey,
The
That's like me with a table at Rayo's.
the craziest
Right?
my
part.
dream.
I want
Have
to
a
earn it.
table at
I
Rayo's.
want to earn it.
I'm a very low key type guy.
Yeah.
Besides of what I am on stage.
Yeah.
Right. And to walk into Emilio's Ballato, when you walk in through the front part, and every head at those little four top tables just fucking what.
Yeah.
They're like, who is walking back there right now?
Yeah.
It's,
Well, it's you.
it's bananas. No, they don't know it's me.
They know.
Manhattan-
They
in
know it's
Manhattan,
you.
look, in Manhattan like that. In Jersey, sure. If there was an Emilio's Ballato in Fairlawn, and I walked through the front, everyone would go
Yeah,
nuts.
you're Stallone.
Yeah,
Long Island too. Come on. Anywhere,
Long
anywhere
Island.
you go on Long Island.
It's Long
Long
Island.
Island, you can't walk down a
No.
fucking block.
No, you can't. My mother saw you. She would tackle you and hug you and try to ask for an autograph.
I love
my
that.
mother loves you.
I love
loves
getting
you.
tackled and hugged.
She
Because
goes
when
to
I go
me-
home, I'm just the guy who takes out the garbage.
She goes to me today. She's like, I didn't tell her this till like yesterday. She calls me this morning. She's like, you're going to Sal's today, right? I'm like, yeah. She goes, what are you wearing? I'm like, you know what? I watched a bunch of episodes and everyone's wearing fucking tracksuits. I was like, so I'm wearing my fucking feel outfit. She goes, Dom, you can't go like that. She goes, you got to get dressed nice, put on a
You wanna know
she goes,
something?
nice like a suit? I'm like, I'm not wearing a fucking suit.
I looked at my powder blue tracksuit this morning and thought, is today the day?
Today it was the day.
Today's the
Today
That's a
was
nice
the day.
tracksuit.
Today
I
was
really
the day.
like that
It's a
tracksuit.
it's a feeler too.
I
really like
dusted
that
off the
tracksuit.
feeler, and I was like, I'm going to town with it. I mean, I always joke, like, I was going to do the chef coat, but I was like, this is more like fun. This is more personal. Like,
Yeah.
and me personally, it's like, you look at my kindergarten picture, there's all these kids in like, khakis and a shirt, and I'm sitting there on the end in a blue and purple white Sergio Tacchini with white Keds on. Like that.
I fucking love that.
On my
That's
kindergarten
great.
picture. I actually have it. I have to find it. It's just me standing there off to the side with a big coif of hair.
That is so funny that you said that because I will honestly never forget. As like a kid, I was tortured for that. Like,
Oh, yeah, they didn't get
I
it.
was that guy. Like, so my mom would dress me. She'd have like my collar puffed out with like the gold chain. I had no chest hair, but my chest was hanging out. I was tortured in school.
My mother would,
Tortured.
I remember in the morning, my mother would like take the brush and blow dry my hair.
Yeah,
pull it
yeah.
back, and then we would get, then my father would pick us up in his IROC, in his red IROC Z.
That's
and then
great.
everyone would just stare at us. They'd be like, what the hell's wrong with this family? Like everyone else is pulling up in station wagons and minivans, and there's my father in a wife beater and blue jeans and his chain hanging out, leaning on his IROC, and all the moms
And he-
are there talking to him like, oh,
Boy,
hi,
he's
John.
got to
He's probably like, how you
Yeah, yeah, he owned the
Can't let
bakery.
these kids cramp his style.
No, not at all. And my parents were young. Like they had me when they were like 22, 23. My dad came here when he was 18.
Oh, wow.
From Calabria.
Wow.
Yeah. So like the joke with us is like, you know, when everyone says like these old Italian houses, because my parents were so young and, you know, from Italy, you would think like I would have like these old, like, you know, typical, like you see. I had the parents that my father drove IROCs and Trans Ams. My mom listened to freestyle music blasting out of a Buick Regal. So like it was this weird upbringing.
IROC and a Regal.
A IROC and a Regal.
G-body Regal.
G-body Regal.
Wow.
She had a G-body Regal, then she had the front-wheel drive Regal.
Wow.
And that's how we grew up. So you grew up where it's like, we grew up really Italian because, you know.
But Italian-American.
But we had that American-Italian upbringing too. So it was like, people left, like, your parents took you to Pizza Hut when you were little? I'm like,
right.
Yeah. Because every day we ate normal. Pizza Hut was a treat. Like it was different.
Right. It's typically, that's like first-generation behavior. You know, like kids who were raised in a very Italian house want to then raise their kids a little differently.
Right.
Your parents got here and were like, no, our kids are gonna love America.
Well, and because they were so, like, my mom, she was born here. My mom was born here, but because, you know, her parents were from Napoli, but I always say it's because they were so young in the 80s. Like, how did you not, like, the whole
How'd you not get involved in that
culture exploded in the 80s, right? Like, if my father was here and you asked my father, you're like, Giacomo, who's the Beatles? No clue. Ask him who Michael Jackson and Madonna are. He's like, oh yeah, they both suck, but they, you know, you know, but and Rocky and all that, like everything that was coming out in the 80s. My dad was like, but did we start, by the way?
Yeah.
We did.
We always do this because we get the best out of people when they don't.
I'm sitting there. I'm like, I feel bad. We're like bullshit.
We're gonna cut it in.
Oh.
Yeah.
Trust me. But
It's not live. It's not live.
Yeah, no, it was. Yeah, growing up, you know, we had we had the best of both worlds. Like we spoke the language at home and did all that stuff. But in the same time, you have my mom, you know, and my dad. They were just embracing the culture, embracing all this stuff about it.
Yeah.
So
and that's great.
Yeah.
I was a generation behind the language.
Yeah. Well, the language we had to stop because when my mother always tells a story that when I was in pre-K, they called my mother and they're like, listen, Mrs. Tolomeo, they're like, you know, he's got to go to ESL. My mom's like, excuse me? She's like, they're like, he has a little accent and he's having trouble saying certain words in English. They're like, so, you know, we're going to put him in ESL. My mom's like, he was born here. Why are we putting him in ESL?
My godfather was born here, my uncle, but because he was the first child to go to school.
Right. Yeah, it was me.
He didn't speak English very well.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
School. And all of his cousins who were coming over spoke Italian. And every house they visited, they spoke Italian.
Yeah, that was it.
That's who they knew.
And my dad struggled with English. And then finally my mom was like, I'll never forget. She told my mom, she's like, that's it.
No more.
She's like, we're stopping Italian. She goes, because these kids need to go to school. And, you know, we want them to get a good education and all this stuff, do better than we did. She's like, so... You know, but my father, like at nighttime, like he owns a bakery. So at night, like my time to spend with him was going on the bread routes with him in like the middle of the night. So like, you know, 2, 3 in the morning, I'm in the truck with him, and he would like teach me Italian. Learn
Father had a bread route.
He owned the whole bakery. He owned the bread factory. He still does to this day.
Wow.
Yeah. It's in on Long Island, Elmont, Sapienza. Him and his brother.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow, Sapienza.
Yeah.
Very
cool.
The bread, not the pastry. There's two. The
Yeah,
Sapienza.
very cool.
Yeah, that's my dad. My dad and his brother Paul. They both came from Italy, started working there because their uncle, who owns, you know, A&S Bagels in Franklin Square. Mm-hmm. So that's their uncle.
Well, I know so many A&S, but not the bagels.
The bagels in Franklin Square. So he kind of brought over my dad and his brothers. He owned the bakery at the time, gave him a job, and then eventually my uncle Paul bought it. Then my father bought it. They were partners, and to this day they still own it. And they're still working. My dad goes in 7 days a week. 10, 12 hours a day, doesn't stop. It's a machine.
I was going to say that even having a bread route for like a big corporate bakery is so rare these days.
It is.
So few and far between. You don't hear that.
It's a dying
anymore.
thing.
No, it is.
You don't hear kids aspiring to own a bread route, even though it's a great business in Korea.
I've seen people make great lives doing bread routes, but
it's also cool.
It's
cool to say, like, I have
it was fun.
Bread route.
Even more lost is you don't hear people saying, well, I want to open up a commercial bakery.
No.
And
well, they don't want the life.
And
the
service
life
and restaurants and everything.
Well, it comes with the supermarkets now too. Most of them have like a built-in bakery.
Well, that's where my father's bakery really made a name for itself, was because in the 50s, when Mr. Sapienza opened it, King Cullen, which is the first supermarket in the country, they opened up they had a place in Jamaica, Queens, and they wanted to do that. to put in a bakery. So they really came up with the concept of customers should come here and be able to get everything in one shot. So we developed their frozen dough and par-baked bread so that they could actually do that in there.
Freshly baked in store.
Yeah, and to this day, we still do it for them.
The value of business, not just business, but the food industry.
Yeah.
It gets you hyped up for that. Is that something you always wanted to do?
I always wanted to work in the bakery.
Yeah.
Because, I grew up, I was a daddy's boy. I wasn't like a lot of Italian guys who were like, everyone's mom was like my brother. I was a through and through daddy's boy. So any minute I, could have to spend with him, because like I said, he would go in at 11 in the morning, didn't come home till 4 in the morning. Mm-hmm. So if I wanted to hang out with my dad and do things with my dad, it would have to be in the bakery. So it was, I'd be standing in there watching him or going in the office, but just watching him do things. And eventually when you spend so much time there, you'll ask little questions here and there, like, Dad, why do you go outside all the time and, feel the weather? He'll like, he'll tell me little things like, well, because I have to, fix the dough. It's too humid? Is it dry? I have to, all this stuff. I always thought I was going to end up there. I'll never forget when I was 18 years old, I was like, I finished high school. I was a terrible student from kindergarten all the way to through high school. Actually, the only way I graduated high school was my guidance counselor helped me so much, and I bought her a pair of diamond earrings. I was just,
really?
Swear to God, this poor woman. If I ever meet her again, I want to tell her, like, I owed my whole high school career to you. She like went through hoops to get me to graduate. Otherwise, I wasn't graduating. But I, finished high school, and I was just like,
because you were ready to work at 12 years old.
I was already working. I started at I was 13. I was starting in the Italian delis because my parents were like, oh, I remember my first summer where I didn't have to go to summer school. So I was like, oh, I finally got a summer to myself. My parents were like, no, you don't. You're going to work. You're 13. I was like, well, this
You're
sucks.
a man now. You're 13.
No, that was yeah. So, it was because my parents were just so mad about me going to summer school because they're like, we paid all this money for you to go to Catholic school, only for you to now have to go to public school and for the entire summer and ruin our summers.
That's what my mother used to say to me. I'm paying for you to go to Catholic school. You're going to learn the value of $1.
Yeah, and I ended up in summer school, so they were pretty pissed about that. But no, so I tried going to Nassau for like a month. Yeah. But what made it worse was that my cousin, Marianne, who's my age, was going to Nassau at the same time. So we went to class the first week, and then we're like, we don't think this is really for us. So we started going to Hooters for lunch, just hanging out there. I mean, we go to Hooters. It was all by Nassau. Then we started going to the mall. And I'll never forget, like, the first semester passes, report cards come to the house. And, my parents didn't go to college. They didn't know anything about it. Report cards come, and my mom opens it up, and she's just like, why does everything say W? And I'm like, Ma, college is different. I'm like, they don't grade A through F.
It means I won.
I'm like, wonderful. I'm like, W means wonderful. She goes, what? Like, they just grading it just based on that. I swear to God, if my mother was here, she'd tell you. She'd be like, yeah, this idiot told us that. And she believed it. Well, at least I thought she believed it. Finally, she turns around. I'll never forget. It was like right after Christmas. She's like, you know what? I called up Nassau Community College. Turns out W doesn't mean wonderful, asshole. She's like, W means you withdrew from all your classes. I want to know how long ago did you withdraw? I was like,
every class.
I was like second one. I was like second week, Mom. Yeah. Second week, I was out. She tells my father. I was like, listen. I'm like, Baba, we all know I'm not going to be a doctor. That's my brother. He's my brother's. He's going to be the doctor. He's going to be the cosmetic surgeon because he's super smart. I was like, I want to work in the bakery. And I never forget. I went into the bakery and I was like, Baba, when can I start? My dad looked at me right in the face and he's like, if you're so smart that you think you don't have to go to college or go to school or even do well in school, then you'll be smart enough to figure out life on your own. Get out of here. You're not working here. Go make your own name.
Wow.
And I just remember being like dumbfounded because it's like, here you are 18 and you're like, okay, my life is set. I'm working in this bakery. This is what it's going to do. Eventually I'll take it over. Nope, that wasn't it. I had to start. So I told him, I was washing dishes. I was, I knew I liked food. But then I tried a little bit of everything. I tried to do construction. I love cars, so I tried doing auto body. But from 13,
you love cars too?
I love cars.
Yeah, I feel like I'm talking to Sal. You look like Sal. You have the same interest as Sal.
Well, isn't your cousin Hollywood Motors?
Yeah.
Okay.
You tell stories the same way as me.
I sold a car. I sold an IROC I'll never forget the Hollywood Motors. I walk in, they look, oh, Sal's here, and I'm like, oh no, I'm not Sal. The guy goes, it was Mike.
I remember
Mike's like,
this.
holy
I remember
shit.
saying this.
He's like, you walked in, I thought you was Sal. He goes, I don't believe it's not. He's like, he goes, you look exactly like him. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm like, I hear it all the time. I'm like, ever since this guy got a golden buzzer, my whole life now is, are you Sal the Voice? I was like, it doesn't end.
Did you ever let it play out a little longer?
One time, one time I got so frustrated, I took a picture with someone. I got so fun. It's like I was like, are you? it was at my job. I'm telling you that
This
one
must be why sometimes I get cited places that I've never been.
I'm at work and the woman, it was busy. The woman's like, "Oh my God, you're Sal the Voice." I'm in my head. It's like I'm cutting your mortadella. I'm not Sal the Voice. There's no way.
He has like the hairnet on.
Yeah.
You don't know me, people know me as a regular guy.
But not that regular. Like you were just on TV the night before singing Frank Sinatra, and now here I am making
With Heidi Klum.
Yeah, with Heidi Klum, and now here I am in Woodbury making your sandwich. Like, so the lady's like, "Oh my God, you're definitely him," and I'm just like, "Yeah, I am." And I said it sarcastically. She said, "Can I have a picture with you?" And I'm just like, "Sure." No problem.
were rude to her. I'd never be rude.
I wasn't rude. I was like, yeah, sure, I am.
I'm just picturing Mimmo with the apron.
I had
and
full
a
apron.
complete blank face.
Chef coat no, I smiled.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? If I'm gonna be Sal, I'm gonna do him justice. I'm gonna do a smile, a shit-eating grin from ear to ear. It's like
we have to find that woman and let her know.
I wish I could find that woman.
Wherever
I
you
met
are.
a guy came to my show with his wife. His name's Bubba Falco. And
What a name.
Bubba,
What a name.
Great name.
That's a
And
good name.
he had the similar story that he would always get approached because he looks just like me.
Yeah.
And one day he just said, "Yeah, I am," and took a picture with someone. Like some people be like, "Oh, I saw you at like this market, Southold." Where?
What a full service moment would be someone taking that picture and blowing it up to an 8x10 and then seeing Sal. She's like, "Sal, can you sign this for me?" I'm like, that looks like Mimmo. It don't look like
Sal.
me.
That would be hilarious.
That's a
I would
huge
sign it.
compliment.
I would sign it too.
That's a huge compliment, Sal. And let me tell you why. The only other times I've ever done that in my life is when it's like a celebrity, when it's like, is that really like so and so? Like that's a huge compliment.
It is.
It's a huge compliment.
Yeah, it's a huge compliment. Everyone recognizes
No,
it.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
No, you want to come up and bother me, please.
Yeah, I'm
Because the
I'm
second-
sad that it's me.
You start in a deli.
Yeah.
You start in the deli business at 13 years old.
Yeah. My mom forced me, and then I tried cars, tried doing auto body, tried doing construction.
Auto body's a great business.
It is.
All
It is.
Italian American
I just
industries.
I envy people who could make that business work.
I
because that is
learned
a cash
quickly. I
cow.
can't.
Yeah.
I don't have a straight eye. Everything comes. I have an unsteady hand, so if you try to watch me paint, it's a mess. But then I was, I think I was
Just
like,
picturing.
yeah, it's horrible. It was my cousin's body shop too. He just looked at me. He's like, "Yeah, you suck at this." And then when I was in construction, I remember the foreman was just like, "You look like you should be making pizza, like not."
You look like you should
That's
be
what he said.
making
He used to
pizza.
call me Pizza Boy, and I'm like, and I never
man.
made pizza once. I was my extent was the deli and cooking and doing all
Yeah.
that from 13 to 7, 18.
I already know why Anthony's laughing
So
Why?
because of what's Entourage.
Entourage, yeah, with the pizza boy
They
thing.
called Eric the Pizza Boy because he was the general manager of Sbarro.
No, but that's not why I was laughing. I'm laughing because here he is, this like Italian kid, trying to go to work, and they're like, "You look like you
I
can make fucking pizza."
I still remember the day I was pouring blacktop and it was hot as fuck out.
Yeah.
And the foreman, it was a Portuguese guy, just looks at me. He's like, "No, you look like you should be making pizza." So I guess it was foreshadowing.
My freshman football coach at Holy Trinity High School.
You went to Holy Trinity?
I went to Holy Trinity.
So did I.
Get the fuck out of here.
Holy Trinity, yeah, in Hicksville.
No fucking way.
Yes, I
You
did.
Also go to Holy Trinity.
I graduated
traveling,
2004.
And since you graduated 2004, the likelihood is high that we had all the same teachers.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and all that.
Yeah,
What's
I
that
was-
movie where the guy time travels and like there's like
Who is
different
who
versions
is
of
the
himself?
guidance counselor?
Miss
that-
Fitzgibbon.
Get out of here.
Yeah,
we
me
went to
too.
Holy Trinity. We
Wait.
both like cars.
Yeah.
You sold an IROC to Hollywood Motors.
Yeah.
I bought a Continental from Hollywood Motors, among other cars,
Yeah. I think I have.
Did you guys like date the same girl or something?
No.
Like, I don't know.
There's a
what's
10-year gap between us.
Hey, it's
You never
possible.
know.
Doesn't matter.
You never know.
I guess.
Listen, there was a gap in my love life. It's very possible.
But you're more Cadillacs and Lincolns.
Yeah, I like boats. Listen, I had
like
I
both,
had
like
a
boats. I'm more,
I will tell you though, I did for several months have a 1999 Camaro SS.
Oh, nice.
So it was a Catfish
Yeah.
SS 4th gen with a 6-speed, her shift kit,
Yeah.
T-tops. It's one of my favorite cars I've ever owned.
Yeah, I have.
Sick,
And are you
I have my
cautious?
father's
I am. I don't even
IROC.
know
I
what they're
restored my
talking about.
father's IROC. It only has 20,000 miles. on it.
5-speed or automatic.
No, 350 automatic.
I have no
Okay.
clue what's going on.
And then I had Trans Ams, and now I have my father's IROC. This is how you know my father's
so
a cheap
lost.
guinea. My
Yeah.
father, when he left his IROC outside for 20 years, it was destroyed. Only
Oh
had
my God.
20,000 miles on it. I'm like, Baba, this thing's sitting here. Like, why don't you just give it to me? And my father goes, give it to you. He goes, you can buy it from me. I was like, excuse me? My father's like, yeah, give me 8,000. I'm like, it's not worth 8,000. It's been sitting for
8,000?
20 years. He goes, yeah, but it's only got 20,000 miles. I'm like, that doesn't make a difference. So I had to give my father $5,000 to buy the car from
Still
him.
too much.
At least you
And
worked
then-
them down.
and then-
Restored it and put it away.
Put it away, yeah, because it's sentimental. It was,
I
you know,
can't
course.
do that.
car I grew up with. Then that I have a '87 Monte Carlo SS because I'm
yeah.
getting more into the
Arrow or
G-bodies.
regular?
Arrow,
Oh,
Arrow coupe.
cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
Arrow's come out, yeah.
Yeah. I honestly want to get out of the classic car game. I'm really considering selling mine.
It's something
Consider
about
selling
because
the Cadillac.
the world's moving forward
Do
so
not- do not
fast.
sell that Cadillac.
It's nice to get back into the old,
So I have
old cars.
I have a 1981 Continental Mark VI, the Givenchy edition,
Yeah.
big sunroof, right? That's the only car I've had several classic cars. This is the only one I can't part with.
Yeah.
And I love it so much that in order to have a similar experience driving around every day, I went and bought just a newer town car.
yeah.
And that's my daily driver, is a 2003 town car. That's why I love the Lincoln. Every time my Eldorado or my Fleetwood Brougham or my DTS or my DeVille would have to take a trip to the mechanic, I would follow the tow truck in my Lincoln. And I said, "What am I doing?"
Yeah, I've been like I don't know, man, I don't know if it's an age thing, but like now like starting to get into like those cars. I'm like, they're cool, and like I said, the Marauder, the Impala, those are like transition cars. When you go from Camaros and Trans Ams to you want to get into luxury, it's like, okay, you're gonna transition into these cars,
Yeah,
and then
it's
eventually
still a boat. It's not an M5.
Well, that's what I love
Yeah.
is that they were the seats that you sat in, and then you just squished right into them. They were like the lazy boy chairs, like in the '90s.
but you're still gonna get that same rumble out the exhaust.
And that's
you're gonna
what
get
it
a
is.
cruiser, but in vein of something I think
Yeah,
you like.
they had those suspensions that
You guys really are twins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been
right
so
now.
lost.
Oh,
I've
the
been
car stuff?
completely lost. I just like the way cars look, and that's about it. So Mimmo, like, here's a question I've always wanted to ask you. How do you go about like starting a place? Because it's something I'm really interested in, and I know you're very experienced. Like, even if you want to do it, like I'm with you on the old school and like the gimmick. I think every eatery has to have a gimmick now. I don't think that you're getting away with it just off of good food anymore.
Yeah, I don't know if I think there are some places that can just get away with great food. I don't need a gimmick. Like one of them I think of is Alessandro's.
Oh my God,
does not
he's
need a
great.
gimmick.
Yeah,
He
he's
just,
great.
you know,
He's fucking phenomenal.
He's besides being an amazing person, but also just the restaurant's incredible.
The real Sandros.
Yeah, the real I don't think.
Watch out, that guy might sue you.
Oh,
Good. I'm prone to it.
So he's like Alessandro's is a perfect example of
True.
there's no gimmick. You're just coming in here and you're getting really good food. But I think if you're gonna start a place, it's one, know what you're doing. Don't just open up a pizzeria or a restaurant because you think it's gonna make a lot of money and because it's gonna be successful and because it's cool and because social media attention, like everyone focuses in on that. First, have a talent and a love for what you do, especially if you're opening food, because most will tell you it's a miserable life. Okay, you're going to miss stuff with your family. You're not going to have weekends. You're not going to be able to go out. Like, dating is very hard if you're a single chef and you're doing stuff. So you have to absolutely love this because it is going to like really uproot your life into what you're doing. So you have to have the experience. You have to love what you're doing.
That passion's going to get you through the
passion gets you through the really bad parts because, like, look, from experience, as much as I love doing it, there were times where you sit there. Like, I just remember sometimes in the deli during the week of Christmas, and it's like you're working your third day straight without going to sleep, trying to get orders done. If anything, you're sleeping 2-3 hours in your car in the parking lot, going back in. It gets you where you're just like, I don't want to do this. I don't know if I can do this anymore. Or a Super Bowl, where you're going 2 days straight. So the passion and the love will get you through it. But when you're starting it, start with that. Have the experience. Don't go in there blindly, or have the financial backing to be able to hire people like me who go around and teach you and do your recipes, set your staff. So you hire these consultants who help you get it all established, and then obviously, I want to say location's huge, but with the advent of social media, it's not I don't think as important anymore because people will come to you now.
You ever hear Judy's Diner?
No.
It's in middle of nowhere, Illinois. It's like 3 hours from Chicago, and this woman Judy, she's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
She is 2 hours from Chicago, 3 hours from St. Louis. There is nothing close to her, and yet she has tremendous success with people coming from hours around to go to her diner to eat pancakes just because she posts.
Social media is the most powerful tool you have in a business now, and even like you build your restaurant, you build your restaurant, you have a good product, you have good food. The other thing is
You got to outlast the hype, though.
you have to outlast the hype, or even just getting that social media attention. I tell people all the time, do not do it yourself because you're going to ruin it. Maybe some people are okay with it. Some people are good with it. Some people aren't. Hire someone to do it for you because they're going to bring out, and this isn't a plug for Sciarratta PR. But it's true. It's what I believe because you know me, when I go to places, I tell people, you look for the social media page, this is who you have to use. They're experts in what they're doing because they're gonna pull out what's great in you and what they know will translate well into when they put it on social media to bring you business. So it's worth to make the investment to hire someone to handle all this stuff so you can just focus on the food, the staff, and all. You have a million other things to do to manage a restaurant. And the most important thing when you open a restaurant, you need to treat your staff like their family. Because you go to some restaurants and you know who treats their employees really well because they've had people working there for 10, 15, 20 years and they're happy to be there.
True.
Yeah.
Treat them well, pay them above fairly because these people are breaking their back for you to become successful and to live out your vision.
It also kind of makes them mandatory reporters when someone else is thundering the business.
Yeah, you're always going to have your people that are, coming in and out, lower entry jobs that are just passing through. But you're always going to have your core of people and always treat them really, really well because they do more for your business than you could ever imagine because 90% of the time your customers are dealing with them and not you. Yes, they like to see you. They like to be friendly with you. But your workers are dealing with them most of the time, and that's their first experience is going to be with your employees. So, you want them happy. So treating them, top notch is super, super important. But, yeah, and I think the other thing is you have to be there. That's the number one killer for a lot of businesses. The owners aren't there.
Yep.
You're not there enough. You're not paying attention to what's going on. You're not doing quality checks. You're not.
I like the Patrizia's model.
Yeah.
They're all working partners.
That's the best.
They do not allow you into that club unless you guarantee them that you're going to be at those restaurants for a certain amount of days.
Yeah, and I tell people, you're like, oh, you don't like it? Well, go back to step one. Realize, can I do this?
Yeah.
Because it's a tough life. Like, thank God me now. I'm in a different position where, I'm the corporate chef for Orlando Food, so I travel the country. I for the first time in my life, I have a normal 9 to 5
By the
Monday
way,
to Friday.
made my first batch of fresh pasta with Caputo 00 last night.
That's what we like to hear.
Good stuff.
00. Is the hype real with 00?
I think too many people focus.
The answer is yes.
Too much.
As long as it's Caputo 00.
I think it's more the flour and the
That's
tomatoes.
the most important part.
And you want to use cleaner products now. Customers are much smarter now, way more educated before.
The savvy consumer.
40 years ago, you think anyone went to a pizzeria and asked them if they used bleached and bromated flour? No.
No.
They didn't even care. I mean, back then you were also smoking cigarettes in your car with your kids in it, so it was like health really wasn't a priority.
When my nono had his pizzeria, he would smoke and the ashes would be out there, and he'd be like doing the pizza.
I was looking.
Nobody
for,
cared.
No one cared.
I was looking for ashtrays on Amazon for my office, and I saw advertised that there were these aluminum McDonald's ashtrays
Oh, you remember
for
that?
sale, and it said from the 90s.
Yeah, because you used to have smoking rooms.
Yeah.
Remember, you would go to the diner. They would ask you smoking, non-smoking.
No, I don't come from
I
that
keep
era.
forgetting you're 10 years younger than me. You guys are all kids.
I just missed it.
You just missed
the
it. It
golden
used to be
era.
smoking and non-smoking. And then I remember when we were a kid, early 90s, we would go into the diner, and there you would see my mom, if my uncle or my nono was with us, they smoked. My mother would be like, no, we're going to take smoke. And they would just sit there and smoke
I
while you're eating
caught
the
the
meal.
tail end of people smoking in their houses.
Yeah, even
that's
that's done.
true.
Yeah.
It had just ended during my life.
Yeah,
I would say-
my no stayed on that till he died. Though he knew my mother didn't want anyone smoking in the house. He would come in, light a cigarette. And
My aunt would be making
2000.
Thanksgiving dinner and lighting her cigarettes off the stove.
Yeah,
That's great.
2000,
Yeah.
2004,
That's old school.
kind of like that's like the tail end. I remember going like my aunt's house and they used to smoke, and it was just like the kids can't be in the same room. Like we're all playing around during Easter and my
Yeah.
aunt's smoking while she's making pasta.
I miss.
I actually hated it. Like I love how it looks. Like I love like the
aesthetics of smoking.
aesthetic of
Yeah.
smoking, but I hate it.
Like Johnny
my God,
Johnny Sachs had the
it gives
best
me such
aesthetic
a
of
migraine.
smoking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No
no,
one's
I
ever-
used to smoke. Now, if someone smokes, I'm like, it bothers me now.
Yeah, but Johnny Sack really makes you want to have a cigarette.
Johnny
He
Sack
does.
makes me want.
you watch Johnny Sack have a cigarette, and then you have a Johnny Sack moment in your life where everyone's depending on you, and they're
Yeah.
all, you feel like they're all idiots.
You're, you're
What
like
is this? The
cigarette.
fucking UN?
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, we got to talk about Pizza Champion. How do you become the Pizza Champion?
Yeah, true.
Oh.
Like what? Like everybody knows your title, Pizza Champion.
No, well, I won an award in 2019, and then I was asked to be on the team called the World Pizza Champions. They kind of just ask. They get the best group of pizza makers and
From all over the world.
from all over the world. I think people who know me personally, I don't care so much about the accolades. It just doesn't mean much to me. What was more important to me was the trust and respect from colleagues, which is why I took this position. Right, like I could have opened up another pizzeria and continued on that trajectory. You know, when I took this job with Orlando Foods and to be their corporate chef and go around the country teaching people, you put yourself in the background now, and you push all these other people forward. And I found my happiness doing that. I found, I won the 2019. It was the Caputo Rising Star, and I just started making pizza that year. I quit after all my years of being in the salumerias and being a cook and a butcher. I took a wild chance at 32 years old to walk away from all that. I was set with Ibarone. Like, I was great. I was the manager. I was doing great. And at 32, I just was like, I had this dream. I wanted to do it. I loved pizza. I mean, a lot of people have probably said the story a million times, but it was 96. My parents took me to Napoli. They made me try pizza for the first time, and it was a taste I never got out of my mouth. And you come back to Long Island, and you go and order a margarita pizza, and you realize this isn't the same. This is totally different. So that always stuck with me. And then, eventually I went to go take a class and learn how to become a real pizzaiolo, do a Neapolitan pizza. I won this award. For me, it meant a lot because felt like I made the right decision in life, right? Like I was really scared to
It
walk
was
away from
life
that.
affirming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really and to win that award was like, okay, like I'm going in the right direction. And I wanted to bring a scene to Long Island because it was always like when you would ask people where the best pizza was, it's always, Brooklyn, Manhattan, this. I love Long Island. I love being a Long Island. I think everyone knows that. Like if any cool moment that happens in my life, I always write like just a kid from Long Island because it's just a friendly reminder.
I've noticed that.
Yeah,
I've noticed that, and I really like that.
special moments.
I like that.
Like when I was on TV in Italy, like they filmed me in Italy doing making pizza with an Italian pizza maker, and then all of a sudden my cousins and aunts and uncles in Italy like see it on TV, and it's just like holy shit, like that's our nephew, from the United States, and he's on TV here. Little moments like that, I say, it's just a kid from Long Island. It's a reminder of where you come from, what and to be able to do these amazing things. But now I'm in the point of my life where I just really find my happiness in watching other people succeed. Like last year, they did the top 50 pizza, and 4 people that I had taught and given recipes to ended up on that list. For me, seeing them on stage, that was the proudest thing. That what made me happy. As far as going forward, I think I'm loving this too much, I think, to stop it, and just seeing people, like, helping them realize their dreams and helping them, create, have the, execute this vision that they have. I love doing that. I love getting to travel, but I think going down the road, if there is a part of me that still wants to have a place again, but it's going to be more on my terms. Like I said, it's either going to be ushering an era like the Copacabana back, but surrounded around pizza, where there's this nightlife aspect to it, where people come dressed up with their, families, their girlfriends. There's entertainment to it. Like that would be probably where I would go. So it would
The food's got to be knockout.
yeah, and it would be, I would bring the Neapolitan oven, smack it right in the middle of the floor, and everything built around it, the stage to the back, everything built around it. My proudest moment is seeing now that I was the first one to usher in this pizza renaissance on Long Island, and I'm seeing all these people open up after I came. There's wonderful places like Dario's, there's Frankie's and Merrick. You're seeing more and more of these pizzerias now open up, and they're becoming like having their cult followings like they did in the city. I think the next level would be that like Copacabana style
I love that.
pizzeria.
I'll be in the kitchen.
Greg's back in the kitchen, yeah.
It's a really beautiful thing, though, to be able to teach people, to be able to share your passion with people, and then watch them turn it into success. Meaning, like, you did this correctly, so correctly
Absolutely.
that a secondhand person was able to then, go and open a restaurant.
Yeah. Well, that's the beauty of the industry. Like years ago, everything was a secret. No one told you their recipes. No one told you anything. But in order for us to evolve, like I tell people all the time, I'll go into pizzerias, and there's tons just on Long Island alone. I've went into giving them recipes, and it's always what they're comfortable with. Some people are, comfortable saying, "Hey, Mimmo came in and did this." There's a lot of places, a lot of well-known places that have had me in there, and they ask me, "Don't say anything," and I respect everything that they want. But the beauty of it is to share and to help the business evolve, because I'll never forget, I went to one well-known pizzeria. They had asked me to come in. I'll never forget this. He reached out to his distributor, he's like, "Who's this kid that goes around and teaches everyone, and they all like seem to be doing well? I want to talk to him." And he went in there, and I'll never forget this. He's just like, "Well, look at my place. It's busy, and I don't use any of the flour or the stuff that you go around and teach people." And I told him, like, "Okay." I was like, I was like, "That's great." I'm like, you called me in here. I'm like,
You gotta love people like that.
I'm like, if you want me to say, he goes, "Well, why would I change anything? Look how busy I am." I said, "Well, I always give him this example, and you'll like this because you're a car guy too." I say, "I understand your theory, right? You're doing what you've been doing for 50 years, and it works. And if it works for you, that's great. The Model T was a great car as well. What do you drive now?"
Yeah.
Tells me a Mercedes. Says, "Why don't you drive a Model T?" "Well, why would I do that?" I said, "Well, because you want the newer stuff, right?" I'm like, "You want to evolve." Same thing with pizza. Some people, the thank God, the beauty of it is, it's like, if you're representing a brand, some people might say to you like, "Well, you work for them, that's why you're pushing it so hard." No,
You could also believe in it.
My name that I built was with those brands, and then I loved it so much. I love the people. I love the people behind it, the representatives of the company, that I chose to go and work for them to be able to continue to spread it. I tell them all the time, like, the name that I built in this industry was using these products. And then now I go out and show people, well, it worked for me. Let me show you how it could work for you.
I
and
love,
that's where trust comes in.
I loved Locatelli cheese long before I performed for Mr. Mafuji's daughter's wedding. Like
That's hysterical.
I loved it.
Hysterical.
I loved it then, and I still love it.
Yeah.
You people will always gravitate towards really, really good ingredients, because if it can make an at-home chef make gourmet meals, imagine what it could do in your restaurant. Imagine what it could do with your cooks and your chefs who've been here for a decade.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the pod, Mimmo.
you
It's
for
always a
having me.
pleasure to have you, and one of these days I really want to take the time to actually learn from you like a little bit. Like, I want to go through
Mimmo,
how you make pizza and like everything. Like, I'm really curious.
I want you to come to my house and teach me.
That would
so
be
that I
something
so
fun
that
to
I
film.
know so that I know how to direct your YouTube series that we're going to put out, because these YouTube chefs are making
True.
ridiculous money just showing people how to cook.
Yeah.
True. It's true.
I think the next time we're together in here, we will make pizza in this studio right underneath the awning. We can do that.
That would be great.
We can do that.
That would be great.
From start to finish. The dough, we'll bake them, everything. We'll go
Cool.
from start to finish. We'll make them right under that awning.
I love it.